Spider-Man's educational adventure in Vietnam. It was a sunlit morning in Hanoi when Spider-Man swung into the bustling city, drawn by reports of a new villain named Shadow Hacker wreaking havoc. Word on the street was that Shadow Hacker had a knack for manipulating social media to create chaos in the educational sector, and Spider-Man knew he had to act quickly. As he descended onto a local cafe near Tay Ho, he encountered a man named Trung Nguyen, who had recently gained a reputation for teaching English. Trung was known not just for his teaching skills but also for his questionable past. He had faked his Ielts scores to build his social media following. However, his dishonesty was discovered, and he was forced to abandon his teaching career. In a bid for redemption, he had opened an Airbnb in Tay Ho, hoping to start anew. "Spider-Man!" Trung exclaimed as the hero landed gracefully. "What brings you to Vietnam?" "I'm here to capture a villain who's been causing trouble, but it seems like you have a bit of chaos in your own life, don't you?" Spider-Man replied, eyeing the quaint Airbnb with curiosity. "I got caught faking my scores. I had to pivot my career completely. Now I run this Airbnb," Trung admitted, gesturing around. "But talking about education, I've seen how technology is changing the way people learn these days. The rise of educational apps has revolutionized how students interact with learning materials. For example, applications like Duolingo provide interactive quizzes that enable the process of active learning, through which the acquisition of knowledge becomes possible." Question 1. What is Trung's viewpoint on the effectiveness of educational apps in enhancing student learning? You have 5 seconds to respond to this question. Spider-Man nodded. "That's true. Proponents of these apps argue they enhance learning by engaging students through interactive content. They make learning enjoyable with quizzes and games, allowing students to take part actively in their education." Question 2. What advantages do proponents of educational apps argue they provide to student learning? You have 5 seconds to respond to this question. Trung smiled but then frowned. "But I've also noticed that some students, particularly many Vietnamese students, rely too much on these apps. Critics like my old professor, Mr. Tan, say that excessive dependence on technology may limit critical thinking skills. I've seen many students expect instant answers and don't engage deeply with the material." Question 3. What disadvantages do critics mention regarding excessive reliance on educational apps? You have 5 seconds to respond to this question. That's a valid point, Spider-Man acknowledged. It's essential to balance technology with traditional teaching methods. While apps can provide fun learning experiences, we need to ensure students also practice problem-solving and analytical skills. Exactly. There's a future where educational technology will expand even more, Trung added. Imagine learning systems that adapt to each student's needs. This shift leads to greater efficiency in knowledge acquisition, leveraging learning mechanisms like spaced repetition. Just then, a loud crash interrupted their discussion. The ground shook, and Shadow Hacker appeared, trying to steal the tech that powered the very educational apps they had just discussed. Spider-Man sprang into action. "Looks like it's time to wrap up this conversation." With a series of swift movements, he engaged Shadow Hacker in an epic battle, all while Trung watched in awe. After a fierce yet quick fight, Spider-Man subdued Shadow Hacker, saving the technology that was essential for modern education. As he caught his breath, he turned to Trung. "Remember, whether you're running an Airbnb or teaching English, it's all about growth and balance. Integrating the best of technology while fostering critical thinking is key to helping the next generation." As Spider-Man swung away, Trung stood outside his Airbnb, inspired and determined to think more thoughtfully about how he would incorporate tech in his interactions with guests and future students in his new career. In that moment, he realized that no matter what path one takes, embracing change and learning from past mistakes was the true mark of success.